Welcome to a new deep dive. Today we're plunging into, well, a truly magnificent world. Gabriel García Márquez's 100 Years of Solitude.
A classic.
Definitely. And our source isn't some dry academic paper. It's actually a really vibrant dialogue between two literature students from Bangladesh, Anik and Farzana.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they share their analysis, but also, crucially, their deep emotional connection to this incredible book. Anik immediately captured that feeling of reading it. He said he felt overwhelmed, like stepping into a completely different world. That immediate kind of visceral impact,
Yeah.
it really sets the stage, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And what's great about using the student dialogue is how it shows how Marquez's mix of the magical and the painfully real creates this universal emotional language. It's not just that the themes are universal, it's how he presents them. You know, this tapestry of family saga folklore. That's what makes it land so powerfully, especially maybe in cultures with strong oral traditions, like in South Asia.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And that idea, a completely different world, it really speaks to Macondo, the town he creates. A huge part of that is his use of magical realism, right?
Yeah, Enrique.
Anik nails it, I think. He says Márquez weaves myth and reality together in a way that feels just how our grandmothers tell stories.
Yeah.
Where, like, a river of time, memory, ghosts, and all just flow together. But is it just, charming folklore?
Yeah.
Or is there something deeper going on with the magical realism?
Yeah.
Maybe even political?
Well, that's a really crucial point. It does have that familiar, comforting quality, sure. But Marquez uses it quite deliberately, I think, to blur the lines. History and myth get tangled.
Okay.
And that lets him subtly critique things like power structures or official histories in a way that feels inherently true, even when it's fantastical. And that specific storytelling style, that's exactly why it resonates so deeply in South Asia as the students felt. You think about it, those shared cultural themes.
Yeah. What?
Like the repetition of history, the idea of family curses, the backdrop of political chaos. They all find really powerful echoes in Macondo.
Speaking of repetition. Yeah. The Buendía family itself. Honestly, keeping all those Jose Arcadios and Aurelianos straight.
Oh, yes.
It feels like you need a flowchart. But that repetition, it's obviously intentional, right?
No, absolutely.
It feels like it signifies history just relentlessly repeating itself, like the characters are doomed kind of to never learn.
It's a deliberate narrative choice, yeah. Almost a structural metaphor, you could say. He doesn't just tell you history repeats. He shows it in the very structure.
How so?
Well, the novel's circular structure, right? Events, themes, even those names, they echo down the generations. It's like a recurring dream or maybe a nightmare sometimes.
Right.
And it perfectly portrays this generational solitude. The characters are trapped in these cycles, can't seem to break free from obsessions or curses. It just reinforces their isolation, even when they're surrounded by family.
And Macondo itself, the town, it goes through this incredible arc. Starts as this hopeful utopia, full of potential.
The founding.
But by the end, it's just dust and decay. It feels almost biblical, that scale. Like watching empires or even just families rise and inevitably fall.
It does have that epic feel. And what's really amazing, I think, is Marquez's genius in taking what looks like just a family story and turning it into this huge, profound metaphor. Macondo's journey from its sort of Eden-like start through booms and busts driven by outside forces to its final disappearance. It mirrors Latin American history in so many ways.
Wow.
It embodies those universal themes: colonialism, civil war, capitalism, memory, forgetting. Every stage of Macondo kind of reflects a historical moment.
And the language itself, even reading it in translation, it's just so poetic, so powerful. It wraps around you.
It really does.
There are scenes that are just unforgettable, they get etched in your mind. Like the rain that lasts for years.
Oh, yeah. For 4 years, 11 months, and 2 days.
Right. Or the insomnia plague that steals memories. Or that image of Remedios the Beauty ascending to heaven with the laundry.
Surreal, beautiful, slightly absurd. Yeah.
They feel almost like myths or folktales themselves.
They absolutely do. But, despite all that magic, all that vivid imagery, there's this profound sadness running through it all, a pervasive solitude.
Definitely.
Every character pretty much seems to be constantly looking for meaning, love, or escape. But ultimately, they're just trapped in solitude. It feels like an inherited flaw, doesn't it? Part of being a Buendía, they just can't quite connect.
It is haunting, really. When you finish it, you can't help but reflect on your own life, maybe your family, your history. Makes you look inward, see if you recognize echoes of that solitude in your own world.
Without a doubt. I mean, it stands as one of the greatest novels of all time for a reason. It's an unforgettable experience, especially for literature students like Anik and Farzana, but really for any reader.
Yeah, absolutely. And that leads us perfectly to Anik's takeaway, which I think just sums it all up. He said, 100 Years of Solitude is not just a book. It's an entire lifetime wrapped in 400 pages.
That's beautifully put. It really is. It's quite something how a deeply personal family story, rooted in a specific place and time, can become this universal lens, a way to see history, politics, the human condition itself.
So, thinking about that, what does this mean for you listening right now? If one novel can hold, like Anik said, an entire lifetime and speak so deeply across cultures and time, what hidden lifetimes and insight, what understanding might be waiting for you just inside the cover of the next story you decide to explore?